Alrighty, howdy, and welcome to the Red Dirt Aggie Show. I'm Brian, the Red Dirt Aggie, and I'm here with Montana Lane.
Howdy.
And Montana, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit? Tell them about yourself.
Well, my name is Montana Lane. I am a singer-songwriter currently local to the College Station area. Came up here for school in 21, and yeah, now I'm just kind of pursuing music. My original hometown is a very small town of Type, Texas.
Oh,
But yeah, no, I can guarantee you probably haven't heard of that,
nope.
unless you rodeo and you have driven through it.
Right.
But yeah, so that's where I'm from originally. It's kind of funny. I always like to say that we in Type we couldn't come up with a population sign, so we went and stole a down marker from the local high school to keep track.
Nice.
But yeah, that's about it for me. I'm sure we'll get into a lot more details here in a little while, but as far as introductions go, that about covers it.
Well, yeah, man. And what is it that really made you or inspired you to really want to become a musician, make you get into music?
Oh, girls. No, it's really funny. I actually started playing drums whenever I was old enough to walk, and I've just had a bug in my ear for music ever since then. I took
Right.
piano lessons whenever I was in third grade, and then I played the trumpet for a little while in middle school, and started playing guitar in middle school too. So I started playing guitar, like I said, for girls, and then I realized whenever I got to college, it's a lot more useful for free beer. So,
putting it to work.
oh yeah,
Putting it to good use.
oh yeah.
But so, what's your favorite part of creating that music? Of creating music?
Ah man, that's a hard question. I have to say it's probably gonna be like the sandbox aspect of it,
Mm.
and oh man, I can't remember. I think it was Aaron. I can't ever remember his last name. He wrote a lot of songs for George Strait, but it might come to me here in a minute. Anyways, he said that songwriting and making music is really neat because it's art, and much like in painting and any other type of like visual art, the paper is your canvas, and you
Right.
really get to everybody's writing their own true stories, however
Yeah.
they may be, and it's just a really cool aspect of I can make this story anything I want to make it. Nobody has to know the whole truth. You can and the other aspect of it is how the story changes when it hits the listener's ears.
Right, because everyone, I guess, like a song can kind of have a different meaning to every single person. Whereas you might have
Absolutely.
wrote it thinking about one thing, someone else
Yeah.
hears it, and they've
Yeah.
got a whole different idea.
Absolutely, and that's kind of like I'll tell anybody. I don't write the songs. I'm a vessel. I'm a very, very spiritual person.
Right.
I'm very Christian, and I tend to kind of negate any credit that I can receive to God, because like I
Right.
said, I'm just the vessel. I'll be laying in bed at 2 a.m. and a song comes to me. I'll write it down, or if I'm driving or whatever it may be. That's where my inspiration comes from, and I give full credit to God on that one. It's not me.
Right
I just
on.
get to sing them,
Yeah.
and it's pretty nice. God doesn't ask you for credit.
Nope.
No
No, he
royalties there.
no, he doesn't ask, but it's always good to give credit where credit's due, huh?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
What would you say is the hardest part of being a musician? Is it coming up with the new music or trying to perfect your music? Is it the performing, the travel, or something else, or any kind of combination of those?
Oh man. Performing's that's the cool part. That's the
Right.
gift you get for all the work you put in behind the scenes. As a new artist, because we're me and my band, the Brazos Line, we're pretty new on the scene. So it's
Right.
really like right now the hardest part is making a name, and having to utilize the tools that we're given access to make that name. Because
Right.
we're all, all my guys, we're just broke blue collar boys. So, I'm a diesel mechanic here at Texas A&M. That's what I do for a living.
Oh, okay.
Right now, but it's getting the free time to rehearse for shows. It's getting studio time. The hardest part right now for us is being able to afford to get into a studio. So,
it ain't cheap to do all that stuff.
Right. So, and then that too, and being able to get a time together that we can get in the studio, just to be able to get music out to bring people in to shows, because a lot of people might not know that that's where you make your money. You don't make a lot of money off of streaming or anything like that.
Yeah.
You have to be really big on the streaming side to get any kind of royalty from that means anything. But the shows is where you make your money. Shows, merch sales, that whole side of things is what really drives our ability to continue to make music.
Yeah, to have the cash flow to be able to keep doing it.
Exactly.
Keep
because it's not cheap. It is not cheap.
Definitely not. Who are some of your biggest influences and some of your favorite artists right now, as well as influences maybe from past musicians?
Oh man, I pull from everywhere.
Right.
I pull from like anywhere you can think of, and sometimes you don't even realize it. We wrote a song. My dad helps me a lot with the songwriting, and he also plays bass for me. So
that's cool.
It's a big time family affair there. But
family business.
Yeah, you're right. We were sitting down the other day, and I had written a song, or I guess we had written a chorus to a song we're working on, and we got through the chorus, and I got the melody put together for it, and got the chord progression and the rhythm, got everything sorted, and I played through it, and I was like, this sounds real familiar. And so I sat there and thought about it for probably an hour, and then something clicked in my head, and I realized that we had stolen the melody from Ain't No Rest for the Wicked. And I was like, man, but the other cool thing that I was kind of like I was saying earlier is it's a sandbox, so you can change whatever aspect of it you want to change to make it kind of resemble another song, but not copy it enough.
Not directly copy.
Yeah, no, you want to change it enough to not get sued, but.
Well, no, and I'm sure that's hard because you sit there and you're coming up with stuff. You're like, oh, this sounds cool. And you're like, oh, wait, it's already out there.
Yeah, exactly.
One of
the first songs I ever wrote. I think I was like 15, and it was in the first group of songs I ever wrote, I should say, because I had written probably 2 or 3 at the time, but I was writing one song, and then I kind of backed up and I played it again for my dad, and he was like, you know that you rewrote a Brad Paisley song, right? That's all you did? And I was like, son of a bitch. But yeah, no, it's definitely tough. But I say, like, as far as influences go, like I said, I pull from all over the place. But you can definitely hear a lot of Texas influence, just from some of the bigger Texas guys. Like, and you can really tell who I was listening to heavier. I've been seriously writing songs for about a year now. And you can hear how my music taste has kind of changed, and really what Spotify's told me to listen to throughout that whole writing process. Because you can hear Zach Bryan in some of my earlier songs. You can hear a lot of Flatland in some of the middle songs. And right now I'm trying to branch out and kind of dip into the older country, like George Jones, John Conley, that era.
Right.
I know that I've gotten Conway Twitty before out of one of my songs that's out right now, Hey Darlin'. Somebody said it reminded them of Hello Darling, and I was like, well, I think that might just be the title, but
yeah,
definitely not even close to similar as far as melody goes, or even storyline. But yeah, no, I just try to pull from as many influences as I can, because you hear all the time, well, the song's already written, and that's just that's another thing that is a challenge as well as an enjoyment as a songwriter is finding new ways to say stuff that's already been said.
Right. Kind of trying to put your own spin on because there's so many songs out there. It's like, well, let's write a song about this, but there's already you'd be like, well, there's already so many songs like that. You want to be original, but you also want to make something that it's going to resonate with people too. So it's kind of hard to find that balance, I guess.
Absolutely, and it's a lot of using new new lingo and new wording.
Right.
That's a little more modern than what we would have used 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And new references to situations that have happened or trends that are going on. Which is also a reason that "Hey Darling" exists. It was written based on a TikTok trend. It really was. It was funny. Awesome. I have all my family listen. I've got a big family. Extended wise, I only have 2 older sisters, but as far as extended family goes, we got a lot. And I got so many texts and phone calls going, "Who's Darling? Who's Darling?" Nobody. Nobody's Darling yet. That's the key is yet. But they were like, "So who'd you write it about?" And I said, "Every girl on TikTok that is posting this exact video." Which it wasn't like it seemed it's one of those things that's like, yeah, I seem annoyed by it, but also like that trend exists for a reason, and you want to completely understand the reason, and I did, because I was raised very, very Southern gentleman, and just kind of hate the way that culture has gone with dating and the way that we treat women and the way that we get treated.
Tough. I'm glad I'm done with it now.
Yeah.
Just got married recently.
Congratulations, dude.
Thank you.
But I hate the way that's gone, and like the whole like hookup culture thing, and the way that dating is viewed these days just really makes you want to just not even try. And so
it's tough out there.
One of the introductions I use for that specific song is it's I feel like I was placed here as a songwriter to give girls these days hope that they will find a guy like me, and that's not not like a cocky thing, but like the way that I write, that's we're out there. We're out there. So just that's to any girls that might be listening, hold on, because he's coming.
Yeah, Montana, he's get him while he's starting out. And then he'll be along for the ride.
Right.
But you ever spend any time out there at Hurricane Harry's dancing or seeing shows up there?
Absolutely.
College
I know.
Station.
Last night, Randy Rogers and Wade went up there and played, and I was real sad. I had work at 8 this morning, so I just kind of decided not to go out. Plus, another thing is, I told you I don't have any gas money. That's the reason this interview isn't in person. But
no shame, man. Gas is expensive.
I was like, man, I would love to go to that tour, but I've already seen them on that tour once. Number one and number two, I just don't want to spend the money tonight. So, I kind of since everybody's home for the summer and I'm working, I kind of haven't gotten to go over the summer as much as I would like to. But during the school year, I spend quite a bit of time out there when I can.
Yeah.
And there and the Tap and
right.
Some other places. I know a lot of times if I'm short on cash, I'll go sit on Northgate behind the chicken and play.
Yeah.
And just kind of, just whoever decides to walk up, sit there with an open guitar case and
well, there's several famous people that started out that way,
Well, hopefully
the Robert
I can add to that list.
The Robert Earl Keens and the Lyle Lovetts of the world.
Yeah, I actually got to talk to Lyle Lovett's mentor. I joined NSAI and went to one of their chapter meetings here in College Station, and the guy that leads the chapter meetings, he mentored Lyle Lovett back in the day whenever he was a student at A&M.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool to get to meet him.
Do you have a favorite song that you or your band has written?
Oh man, that's tough. I've written, I think, about 70 songs now. So having a favorite one that I've written kind of depends on the situation. I have of the songs out right now, East Side is definitely my favorite. Because East Side is really this story about this guy and this girl that live out in the country but get kind of overgrown by the city.
Right.
And that's exactly what my hometown is right now. Is we've got Samsung coming in right out there. I don't guess I explained where Type is. So for anybody who's ever heard of where Copeland is, it's there, but in a more general aspect, it's between Elgin and Taylor on Highway 95, about 45 minutes east of Austin.
Okay.
So yeah, we got the Samsung factory or plant or whatever you want to call it coming in out there, and a whole bunch of urbanization has started to sprawl out towards our little quaint community out there, and
Right.
it's it's one of those things where it used to feel like home, but now every time I go out there, that's a new house, and
Yeah.
and it gets kind of crowded. So East Side is this story about kind of getting to escape that aspect and this change from a community where everybody knows each other and gets along and helps each other out to this kind of just world of strangers.
Right.
And then this guy and this girl drive out and find a place that resembles that again, and get to be hometown famous again, you know.
Yeah.
So that's but I think the reason that's one of my favorite songs is it has probably, in my opinion and my dad's opinion, the best line I've ever written, which is they planted houses in the hayfields and they don't need rain to grow.
Ooh.
And so yeah, that's got to be the
That is
favorite one
pretty
out
good.
right now.
Yeah.
But then I have another song called Mid-September that I wrote for my dad, because my mom, she left whenever I was 15. She left me and my dad behind, went off to Florida for about 6 months, and then they split up, and he was having a really tough time with it. And this was, like I said, this was whenever I was 15. This is kind of a big part of what really boosted me into that songwriting mentality, because that was the only escape I had, you know. He was taking it hard. They'd been married for 16 years, or 15, yeah, almost 16 years at the time, and I kind of had to be the stronghold of the family at that point. So my only escape was music and songwriting, and I wrote this song called Mid-September, which is a song that we play live at shows, and I'd like to get it
Right.
out at some point whenever we can get that studio time, like
Yeah.
I mentioned. But yeah, it was he came in one night and he asked me if I was hungry, and I told him I was. And he started making this sandwich, and I mean he was just completely down, like hardly recognizable. How just distraught he was and just tired looking. Didn't, you know, there wasn't really much there, and
Right.
it was the only time that someone didn't die that I saw my dad cry, and he like crumbled to the ground, bawling on the floor. And I was like, I walked up to him, put a hand on his shoulder, and asked him if he was okay. And I'll never forget, he looked up at me and said that he had failed me as a father. And that was like, and I'm getting choked up right now talking about that.
Yeah.
It's
that's
that's tough
intense.
for a you know a mid-teenage male to see
That's
their
tough
dad
for
break
anybody,
down
I
like
think.
that. Yeah, especially at that time, you know, because that's
Mhm.
about the time that you start that kids start to see, you know, that their parents are growing up too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that for me, I was like, you know, it was like a knife through the chest, and I was like, you can't blame yourself for this. And
Yeah.
I went to my bedroom that night and started this song and finished it. And it didn't really go anywhere. I just played it every now and then, but it was really a tough song. Still is a tough song for me to play and sing, especially with him on stage with me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true, because he's in, yeah.
Yeah. So it kind of didn't go anywhere. Like, I would play it every now and then when he'd ask me to, whenever he was just kind of down.
Right.
But it really became this power ballad of, like, you know, you're good, you know, you don't have anything to worry about or to be upset about, because it's not on you. Like, this isn't your fault.
Yeah.
And so I wrote that, and like I said, time came and went, and I didn't play it for probably 2-3 years. And then we were, I used to work at Copeland Dance Hall, if you know what that is. But I worked out there, and Father's Day was coming up, and I was this broke college student that didn't have money to get my dad anything for school. But we were playing one night out there, and I was just messing around after the place had closed. I went up on stage and was picking on a guitar and just kind of, we had our after parties, we called them, with people that were staying in the inn, and I was just playing, and he goes, play the song, and I was like, oh man, I don't even remember all of it. And he was like, well, just play what you remember. So I played the first verse and the chorus, and that was all that I could remember. And everybody in there was like, oh my god, like, you wrote that? And I was like, yeah, I wrote it. I said, kinda. I finished it a while back, but I've lost it since then. And they were like, well, you need to finish it. And I was like, okay. So then, like I said, Father's Day was coming up, and I was like, okay, cool. I don't have money to get anything for him. I'm gonna finish this song. That's gonna be his gift for Father's Day. And so I called the band that was playing there that weekend, and I was like, hey man, I was wondering, like, once y'all get done, are y'all gonna be tearing down? Like, I don't want to get in the way of anything, but there's this song that I wrote for my dad, and I'd really like to play it for him up on stage. And the guy was like, actually, you want to just play on our break? And I was like, yeah, sure, that works. It was Kenny Orts, and I spent that week just, writing the rest of this song, and I had to play through it maybe 150, 200 times so that I didn't just start bawling. And I called him up, like, to stand next to the stage, and we couldn't look at each other. Like, we were both gonna just start bawling. He did start bawling because he didn't have a mic in front of him, and I was choked up the whole time trying to sing it. But my sister's got videos of it, and so did a few of my friends. But he was pissed off that night. There was some woman that he was upset about, and just all kinds of crazy stuff was happening that night. And nobody that worked there was going to talk to him because they all knew what was coming, and they didn't want to break the surprise. But the the fiddle player for the band was like, I started setting up. My dad goes, what the hell's going on up there? And he looked at him. He goes, oh, that kid's going to sing some song he wrote for his dad for Father's Day. and my dad goes, that's my son. He goes, oh, you weren't supposed to find out. 'Cause they knew the both of us, but they didn't know that we had any relation to each other. So it was a night. That's for sure. But yeah, he loved the song, and we got this picture stage side of me leaning down and giving him a hug afterward. So whenever that song Mid-September comes out, that'll be the cover for it.
Oh, that's awesome.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So that's the song that I hold closest to my heart. And hopefully we'll be able to get it out to the public here pretty soon, but we'll see.
Well, yeah, maybe you can get it out by mid-September.
Yeah, hopefully.
But so what's your? We'll go back to what's your favorite live concert show that you've ever seen as a fan?
Cody Johnson, hands down. Hands down, Cody Johnson.
Great guy and great entertainer for sure.
Oh, I mean, like, just so much energy at his shows.
Mm-hmm.
He won Showman of the Year, and that was for a reason.
Yeah.
He's got so much energy, and it's just you just get enveloped in this whole atmosphere of country music, and just the seamless transition between him speaking and the songs and the whole production, like. You really got to hand it to not only him, but his band,
the production
his
team,
crew, the production team, lights, sound, all of those guys. Like, they do a spectacular job.
I don't know if you remember during COVID, he used to do those the live streams on Facebook, and he set up like almost like a whole concert just like in your living room for free on Facebook. And it was all of them. They were just all went to his house, his big house, and they were sitting around playing. And I was like, man, like, how did they get the quality? Like, I know he can sing good, but they had like good audio quality and everything. The whole setup is just nuts.
Yeah, no, they're incredible. It's funny you say that about COVID. So we actually, this is kind of a side story. Copeland, the dance hall is right down the road from our house.
Yeah.
Back home, and I did the bar stools for them a long time ago, And then it changed ownership, and I never got to finish the rest of the bar stools. So we were talking
Right.
to the owner while COVID was going on, and they were shut down. I was like, hey, this would be a perfect time to refresh your inventory of bar stools here.
Yeah.
Because my family does upholstery. That was my trade growing up.
Okay.
And so I was talking to the owner, who was Abbey Road at the time, is who it was, and I was like, yeah, you think I can do the bar stools? We'll come up and look at them. And she was like, yeah, just come up and give me a quote. So we show up and walk in, and as we pull up, there's a bus outside, and I was like, that's weird. Why is there a bus? There's nobody playing. It's COVID. Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And we walk in, and Randall King was sound checking for his COVID live stream show. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. So we're walking around, and his crew comes up to us, and they were like, hey, we're gonna be doing this live stream here, and we need y'all to either. I said, oh, we can get out of here, and they said, no, you don't have to leave or anything. Just you can't be walking around, and you gotta be quiet. And I was like, what? And they were like, no, yeah, you're good. You can go sit at the bar if you want. And I was like, all right. So my dad and I got a free private concert from Randall King, and that was a real cool thing that we just happened to walk into.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
But, yeah, no, that was quite the experience. We for somebody who's just now getting into the scene of music, we've had some pretty cool experiences, as far as like who we've gotten to meet and what all we've gotten to do. Because like I said, I'm a diesel mechanic here. And
Right.
whenever I was working at Copeland, the Wilder Blue came and played.
Mm-hmm.
And so they pulled in, and I was fans of the Wilder Blue, but I didn't realize who they were. And so they pulled in, and the owner of the bar came in. He was like, yeah, their bus broke down. They need a mechanic. And I was like, I'll go take a look. I'll go check it out. So we walk out there, and the bus driver got out, and I was like, hey man, I heard that y'all are having trouble with your bus. And he was like, oh yeah, we the brakes locked up on us, and then they like went away, and we just kind of had to coast in here. Don't know what's going on with it. And I was like, okay, cool. By the way, I'm Montana. And their bus driver looked at me and goes, Zane, nice to meet you. And I was like, okay, cool, Zane, the bus driver. And then I was behind it, and I was a huge fan of Zane Williams.
Yeah.
But I didn't know. You don't know what these artists look like whenever you're just listening to them on Spotify or anything like that.
Yeah.
And so I was like, cool, Zane, the bus driver. And then the bus driver gets up in the lead position on stage, and I was like, oh, cool, Zane, the lead singer. Awesome. Didn't realize he was the lead singer. That's cool. And then they were doing the introductions, and I was reaching down to get a beer for somebody. I was bartending. And so I was reaching down to get a beer for somebody, and they were doing their introductions, and I heard Zane Williams, and I went, no. There's no way. And I geeked out so hard that night, because I was like, oh my god, it's Zane Williams. Oh my god, it's Zane. And I don't get starstruck like at all. We have gotten to meet so many cool, like very well known people.
Right.
I just don't get starstruck, but I was geeking out so hard that night. I was freaking out more than anything, and it was just this cool thing that I got to help Zane Williams work on his bus. But then
and you thought he was the bus driver?
Oh yeah, I thought he was. As soon as he pulled up, I thought he was the bus driver. I was like, yeah, that's cool. Zane, awesome. But my dad, I had to go back to work the next day. I had to drive back up to College Station. And
right.
My dad was like, so he spent time working with him, and he didn't know anything about the Wilder Blue or Zane at the time. Like I was freaking out, and he was like, oh, that's weird. He must be pretty well known. I was like, yeah. But he helped him fix the bus for the next 2 days. And they were under the bus, and he looked at him. He goes, so what's your day job? And he goes, I've written some songs. He was just so thrown off, and my dad was like, oh, okay, cool. So you're a full-time musician. He was like, yeah, I am. And I told talked to my dad that night. And I was like, "Did you really ask Zane Williams what his day job was?" And he was like, "Yeah." I was like, "There's no way." But we've gotten after that little incident, we've gotten real tight with them. They're good buddies of ours now. We go, and anytime they're in Texas, or even if they're, we've seen them in Oklahoma and in Louisiana a couple times just because we didn't have anything to do, so we've driven out there.
Let's drive out there and see. It's cool.
Yeah, no, we'll drive out, and I told them too. I was like, if it's a weekend and I'm within driving distance, give me a call if there's any trouble with that bus. And they took me up on it one time.
Or not.
No, they took me up on it one time. They were in South Austin, and I just happened to be in Manor at the time.
Yeah.
And so I, 30-minute drive. Zane called me. He was like, "Hey man, what are you up to?" And I was like, "Oh, we're just getting lunch." And we'd gone to the state track meet, which if I'm looking at that last question right, we'll get around to the reason we were at the state track meet. But anyways, we were at the state track meet. We were headed back to Copeland, and he gives me a call, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm getting lunch right now. Can I call you back?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure." And so they had something wrong with the bus, and I was like, "Oh, yeah, man, it'll be like a 30-minute fix." Well, lo and behold, we didn't get the bus fixed that night. And they had a gig to get to, so we had my grandparents came out and loaded stuff up in our truck and in our car and took them to their gig.
We'll take you.
Yeah, no, that's one thing that Zane mentioned to me. He said that in like 15 years or whatever that he's been playing, he has never had to cancel a gig because of travel issues or vehicular issues. And I was like, with that bus that you drive around, that's shocking to me. But yeah, so still didn't miss a gig. We still were able to kind of come to the
streak
rescue
alive
on that. Yeah, no, and so they were able to play that night, and then they came back, and he texted me at 8 that next morning. He was like, "Hey man, craziest thing, the bus cranked right up today." And I was like, "Oh God," because I was gonna get to drive it. I was gonna get to drive their bus to the concert that they were playing. He was like, "Yeah, if y'all finish up, just take it out to the concert. Your dad's got my address." I was like, "All right, cool." Got the address for the show, and so I was like chomping at the bits to get this bus fixed because I was like, I want to drive their bus.
Yeah, but, of course.
Didn't get to happen, unfortunately.
Right.
So, but yeah, it was some cool experiences. But as far as like, I think I saw something on here about favorite artist, right? Yeah. Sorry, I'm kind of skipping ahead there, but
no,
they are definitely the favorite band right now, just because their chemistry on stage, their ability to talk to people, and just the quality of music that you'll hear in their shows. And, yeah, exactly, and the way that because they'll play however long, no break. They don't take a break because since you've got Zane Williams and Paul Eason up there, they were both solo artists, so you have this switch off that happens. Instead of them taking a break, everybody will leave and it's just Paul. And then, Zane will come up and do his little bit, and you have various musicians coming up and leaving the stage the whole time while they go take their own break, and you never miss a beat. Never have to play house music or anything with them, which is great. I enjoy that so much as a listener to be able to just listen to nothing but music straight through. And they crack up on stage too. They'll laugh and tell jokes, and it's nice being a friend of the band and then getting to hear their jokes and their inside jokes and knowing the story. That's definitely something that's real fun. Yeah, and then you got Andy on strings, and he can play anything. We joked with him one night. We said because he'll come up and play anything with strings. So we had him in a tennis shoe one night, and he told us it was out of tune. But it's just that funny. with Sean on bass, Lennon on drums, you got this just awesome conglomeration of. And the other thing is, it's such this unprecedented mix of genres between all of them. You have Andy with his bluegrass. You have Paul with what he calls South Texas music. You have Zane with his just straight up Texas red dirt country.
Right.
And then you have Lyndon with his 90s pop, and Sean with his funk. And it's just this beautiful, unprecedented mixture of all these genres that come together perfectly.
Create
And
its
that's
own
not
thing.
even mentioning their 5-part harmony, man. It's just
Yeah.
as far as favorite artists go, that by a long shot they got it.
So, as far as going back to your career as a musician, what would you say? I know you said you're kind of just starting out, but what would you say is your ultimate goal for your career as a musician, like in the long run, if you've figured that out yet?
Honestly, it's not even all that lofty of a goal. Um, it's I just want to be able to just do this.
Right.
You know,
I think that's
like,
kind of yeah.
that's just a general consensus because it's what I enjoy doing. And if this is all that I have to do to make a living, that would be awesome. Like I would love that. Just because, this is my passion and this is what
Right.
like I said, I've been doing since I could walk. So,
Hmm.
that's just the ultimate goal is to, and it doesn't even have to be, a glamorous living. It's just enough to get me by.
Just yeah, like if you can, do it and make enough money to where it's a career and you don't have
Yeah.
to do anything else, then that's kind of the goal,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly. Now, I mean, I'm not gonna complain if
Yeah,
we get
like
up there into
it
that,
takes off,
into that,
but
private jet life or anything like that. Definitely
or one of
wouldn't
those
complain about
fancy
that.
tour
but,
buses that some of
but
these
yeah,
artists
exactly.
have now.
But I don't need it. It's not. It's not the goal necessarily.
Right. And what would you say is your opinion on what your music can be categorized as genre wise, if there is one? I mean, do you think you're in that Texas music, red dirt kind of scene, or is it your own thing?
It's definitely Texas.
Right.
It is definitely Texas. And you can hear the Texas in it. Not just lyrically, but musically, that influence from
Right.
from like I said, Flatland and I know Zach Bryan's an Oklahoma boy, so you got your red dirt there, and a lot of Turnpike too.
Oh yeah.
My kind of go-to song has always been Diamonds and Gasoline, and I have some people
Oh,
that
yeah.
can attest to that. Just because it's simple, it's easy, and we're it's just the best kind of campfire song that you can really just break out. But
I'm
yeah,
so
I
glad
think
they're
it's-
making music again.
Oh,
That
me
they're all
too.
back. It's just
Me
yeah.
too.
That
God.
album comes out in August, I think it is. I'm
Yeah, I think so.
waiting on that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Mean Old Son, dude. Oh my god, I
Mhm.
listened to that on repeat for like 3 hours.
When
I
that came
love
out.
that. That song is great. It's and it's I just like a heavy beat sometimes,
Yeah.
But as far as my opinion, as far as my categorization, that's a hard word to say. I'm a singer. Why can't I say things?
It is kind of hard.
Categorization.
Categorization.
That thing. My category is the way that I describe it is Americana country.
Yeah.
Kind of Americana Texas country, because I have a wide kind of variety in the sounds that my songs hold. So it's anything from I have Western sounding songs, and I have I have a Spanish sounding song. I've got it's I've got straight up Texas country.
Right.
It's really hard to categorize my music as a whole. It's a little easier to
And I think that's
categorize
true
songs.
I think that's kind of true of anyone now. I mean, you take your influences from all over the place. I'm sure a lot of artists do, and it's like, but it's coming out of Texas, so you can put it in there. But you also have
exactly.
influences from all over, so it's like,
Yeah, it's definitely country music, because I mean, have you heard me talk?
Yeah.
And it's just kind of, it's very very much depending on the song, more than just kind of the whole generalization of my. I could say that word just fine, of the music. So yeah, I guess Americana country or just Texas
Right.
country. Just country in general. I'm almost about fed up with this whole subgenre.
yeah, it's
Because the
it's too hard.
subgenre movement has been very very what's prominent, I guess is the word to use
Yeah.
there. It's been very prominent in this whole subgenre movement lately, and it just causes too much confusion on where to place yourself. So I kind of like to avoid labels as much as I can. You know, I just kind
I
of
think
stay under
that's
the
yeah.
big umbrella of country. And I'm a Texas boy, so if you want to call it Texas country, you want to call it Texas country. But I know with guys like Cody Johnson and Zane Williams, that whole label of Texas country really almost put a damper on their on their career of expansion throughout the U.S. Because I mean, you know, Cody Johnson this year got newcomer of the year.
Yeah, that kind of blew my mind a little bit. I'm
Yeah,
like,
me
dude's
too.
been making hits, for the past
Yeah,
10 years
you
and or
know,
longer.
and it's yeah, and that was the thing is like he got newcomer of the year, and I'm like, what is up with that? Like you can't, because he's been so big for so long around here. Like
yeah,
I've always thought he was just a national. It wasn't until earlier. I think it was like January, or no, it was whenever I went and saw his show. It was
Yeah.
last August is whenever I found out that he was from Texas. I didn't even know he was from Texas. He's got a place up in Madison, or he grew up. I guess he got a. I don't know if he has a place in Madisonville. If he grew up in
I think
Madisonville,
so.
something like that. But yeah, I didn't even know that until August last year. So that was like this big realization that he is Texas. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I just always thought that he was some kind of national wonder, but I guess
Well,
not.
he started out down here, and then he got
Mhm.
he got a national record deal. So you just assume like
Yeah.
how is he newcomer of the year if he's had that for
Yeah, no, exactly. And of course,
But-
like it's really cool here that you can't really, if you talk about Cody Johnson, you got to talk about Zane Williams because of "Ride with Me." Did you know that he wrote that? Zane wrote that song.
Oh, they wrote it. Did they write it together, or he wrote the whole thing?
I'm pretty sure Zane
I
wrote
think
it.
yeah.
And because Kojo covered it, and that was his that was one of the songs in his big break album.
Yes.
Was "Ride
Was
with
that
Me."
one?
And
Mhm.
it was really cool, and that was something I thought Cody wrote it for the
Yeah.
longest time, and then Zane broke it out at a show. So yeah, no, it was Zane's written a lot of stuff that you just kind of you think somebody else did, but then whenever you find out that he wrote it, you can hear it.
Yeah, it's like the whole deal with Cover Me Up.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
everyone
no,
thinks
God.
everyone's like, oh, that's
Oh.
yeah.
Don't even get me started on Cover Me Up. Holy shit. No, that's one of my favorite things. It shows, or you really just playing in general is you always get the drunk girl. Play Morgan Wallen. And that's the song that I play. I have what I call itch scratchers. Right.
Yeah.
I have itch scratchers because you have these like it shows, and when you're just kind of playing, you have people that request an artist, and they're like, do you know
yeah.
any of this artist, or do you know any of this artist? So Cover Me Up is Morgan Wallen's itch scratcher for me. And it's nothing really against Morgan. I miss the old Morgan, you know.
Well, and
Same
it's
way-
just
Do what?
it's just funny because it's not even his song,
Yeah,
it's
no,
the
and
Jason Isbell.
every
yeah.
time I break that song out, I'm like, okay, Morgan covered this song. It's a Jason Isbell
Yeah.
song. This is a Jason Isbell song. And man, Jason doesn't get enough credit, dude. He is
Yeah.
so underrated. I love Jason's music, man. But yeah, so I have that itch scratcher, and I always specify that it is a Jason Isbell song, just because I can't let him go without that recognition.
Yeah.
Well, it's also like Tennessee whiskey too, you know.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
Chris Stapleton. God bless Chris Stapleton. First
Yes.
of all,
Yeah.
God bless Chris Stapleton. I
He's-
love the man.
That voice is
Oh,
incredible.
God.
He's wrote songs for so many other people too.
Yeah, no, he is such an amazing artist. Like God bless that dude.
Well, and the thing that always cracks me up is the reason he used to write so many songs, he wouldn't sing anything. I saw like an interview with him or something. He said he used to think that his voice didn't sound good, and that's why he wouldn't sing his songs. Yeah. It's like, how can you have a voice like that? It'd be like, oh, I'm not that good.
Yeah, no, it's man. Which I was the same way. Like I used to hate my voice. I still am not a fan of hearing my voice. Um, recording for me is not a fun process. Because I do it here. Like
Hmm.
this is my recording studio right here in my bedroom.
Right.
So I, whenever it comes to recording, like for a while, "Hey Darling" was the first song that I had released, and somebody asked me to play it one time, one of my buddies, and I played it, and I'd forgotten the second verse to it because I
Oh no.
recorded it and released it in January, and I did not listen, play, think about that song until like April. Because
Because
I
you've
was
heard
so
it so
tired of
much
it.
when you're
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I was so tired of it, and I was so tired of hearing my voice on it. So I played it, and it was one of his favorite songs. Like it's on, he put it on his playlist. He's like 10 song playlist that he always listens to.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Man, like, why don't you play this song?" And I started playing it, and I just forgot the words. He was like, "You wrote the song." I'm like, "Yeah, but you don't understand." Which, again, for any like viewers or listeners out there, songwriters don't always remember their songs. You know, I've written so many songs, and it's a weird way to say this, but we have to learn the songs we write. It's this process of writing down what's in your head, and then having to learn it through the perspective of somebody else learning a cover.
Right.
But it's harder than a cover because you don't hear it and sing along with it on the radio all the time.
Yeah, because
So
you made it,
even,
so
right, exactly. So you don't have something unless you record it the first time you sing
right.
through it. You don't have anything to listen to and sing along with, so you have to like play it over and over and over again to even learn the song. And then it's the most terrifying thing whenever you play it for the first time on stage because you're like, "What if I don't remember it?" So hopefully, you remember it on stage.
Yeah. Well, do you, on that topic of new music and stuff, do you have any new music coming soon or any announcements that you'd like to tell us about while you're here on the podcast?
Oh man, I've got a show Saturday. That's Saturday, July 22nd, out at Century Square at the Front Porch. So that's the show we got coming up in late August. I think I just got a text that we are changing the date that we're getting in the studio, but we'll be recording one of mine called "Same Old Song,"
Okay.
and that should be. I don't have a date for release yet, but hopefully sometime in September we'll be able to release that one.
Right on.
So yeah, and that's one of the crowd favorites. It's a fun song for us too. You know, it comes in with a fading electric guitar.
Right.
And it's one of like 4 or 5 songs maybe that I actually play an electric in, and I don't have any of mine hanging up. I just moved in here, so these hangers have not been put up yet. But that entire wall will also be filled with guitars.
Well, I mean, if you want to play something right now, you're welcome to, or if not,
Oh,
you don't
man.
have to. Totally up to you.
Oh man, let's see. What can I play? Let me grab this guitar over here. I'm trying to think. Oh man.
And we'll clip out the song too, so we can put the song as like a separate, shorter video, so people will see
Okay.
it.
Cool. Let's see what we got here. I'm trying to think of what song to even play. I guess I can play "Same Old Song" with an acoustic.
Sure.
Now let me adjust my mic here so you can hear the guitar. We'll clip that part out. Why can I not play right now?
Because you're on camera.
Heard you've been out there making moves and drinking whiskey. I can't help but to remember how you kissed me when you said you loved me, but you weren't in love anymore. So now every new man you bring in your bed has to justify some things he never did. But it won't be long before you kick him out the door. Give him a fair chance, honey, why do you go tearing down every good man's heart in this town? I can't keep track of all your lies I've heard from other people's mouths. Go on and tell them how I done you wrong. Stitch your heart on your sleeve and move on. No need to hit repeat on a different singer, same old song. Same old song. Can't take a beating like I could the day I met you. So I villainize girls with blue eyes and cherry perfume, 'cause letting them down is easier than letting go. Can't keep on letting my head run around my heart. My death grip slipping may just be the perfect start to finding myself, regaining my lost control. Give him a fair chance, honey, why do you go tearing down every good man's heart in this town? I can't keep track of all your lies I've heard from other people's mouths. Go on and tell them how I done you wrong. Stitch your heart on your sleeve and move on. No need to hit repeat on a different singer, same old song. Same old song. Whoa. Different singer, same old song.
Nice, dude. I like it.
Thank you, thank you. I'm gonna hang this back up.
So that's the one that's coming. That'll be coming later this year.
Yeah, that'll hopefully be out in mid-September. Not to be confused with the song called Mid-September.
Yeah.
But yeah. Hopefully that one we'll be in the studio with that August 26th.
Oh, dude. Well, we're looking forward to that one. We'll have to.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it a lot.
Yeah, I'm sure. Right on. Well, I mean, I guess let's see. What are some things that you consider hobbies or things that you're passionate about outside of music?
Oh man, I am the place that I moved to that I'm in right now is it's a horse boarding facility.
Okay.
And they got an arena out here, so I something I've always really been like passionate about, but never really got the chance to do that much or be a steward of is horses and livestock. I grew up on a hay farm, so I grew up a plowboy. And the guy that leased our land that I worked for, he also had a bunch of cattle out there. He leased a bunch of places that he ran cattle on, so I got to help him out quite a bit with that, but never really got to ride that much. So hopefully that'll change here. But it's just something, connection with animals, especially large animals, is really a passion of mine. Not much to that one, just kind of.
It's a big part of living in Texas, you know.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, exactly. You know, it's a large part of the culture here. And just something that we all kind of grow up with the assumption that we are.
Right.
But lucky enough for me, like we grew up in the country, and I got quite a bit of experience with them.
Being around them.
It's just something that I love to do whenever I get the chance to. And unfortunately, that chance hasn't been granted to me. As much as I would like, but something that I will say that used to be a passion of mine and still is a passion of mine to follow and to keep up with is track and field. Like you see, I'm wearing my Texas A&M track and field shirt right now.
Yeah.
So I was a pole vaulter in middle and high school.
Okay.
And that was a huge that was, I say, a huge part of my life. That was the only part of my life. So those things have kind of swapped roles. I kind of keep up with track and field about the same way that I played music whenever I was pole vaulting. And I play music about like I was pole vaulting. So that's something that I like to keep up with. I did a year at Texas A&M. I redshirted, so I got to sign there. I was a 4-time national champion pole vaulter, and had a great time with it. But I went for a run yesterday and realized that is in the past.
Yeah, you got to stay conditioned for that, huh?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm
for
sure. I know.
That
I'm certainly. You can't see my lower half, but I'm certainly not in any condition for anything like that.
Yeah. No,
either.
it's something that was in the past and 30 pounds ago for me.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to get back in shape now, and that's tough.
Yeah.
It's
Getting
tough.
started is the hard part, just
Oh,
like with
yeah.
anything else. But.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, but yeah, we do talk some Aggie sports on here. I mean, you want to
Heck yeah.
give us any preview? You still keep up with the track and field? I mean, we haven't talked too much about that on here, but if you want to give us a little preview about that this season, or
Yeah.
or
So,
football, anything.
Well,
Any thoughts?
track and field is my wheelhouse, and as you might know, I don't know how public the information was or how well it spread that A&M's getting a new indoor track and field facility.
Yeah, I did hear about that.
Yeah, so that's really exciting news for everybody, not only the team but also the spectators and everybody.
Yeah.
So they haven't had any home meets. They didn't have any home meets last year, and I don't think they're having any this year. They might be able to have some on the outdoor track this year after indoor season is over. But hopefully they'll be back pretty soon because I'd like to go watch some of my old buddies.
Yeah.
As far as like name dropping anything like that goes, I really don't have much this season because I'm not on the track with them.
Right.
And I miss it. I really do miss it, but just wasn't in the cards, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Any other sport? Oh. We gotta talk about that. We've got to talk about that.
Oh, right, because they're saying they're going to penalize horns down, right?
Yeah.
What's up with that in the SEC?
Man, why? You know?
I don't know.
I get that.
Because Texas is too sensitive.
Right? Yeah. No,
To
it's
you.
those tea sippers down there. No, I don't like. It's been around for as long as TU has. So I
Yeah.
don't know what's going on with that. So I grew up diehard Longhorn.
Yeah.
When
you're little, right?
Drop a hat to that. I grew up diehard Longhorn, and in high school I visited here for not athletic reasons, for female reasons. Oops. And same one that song was written about, actually. And I just fell in love with the atmosphere up here in the community. And even growing up diehard Longhorn, I never liked Austin.
Yeah.
I never liked the city. I only liked the school. And so as time went on, I fell in love with the atmosphere up here. And then COVID hit the year that I was supposed to get my visits and everything like that. So the only recruiting or anything like that I did was all over the phone. But I made the decision to come to A&M, and I was an engineering major that all fell through for me. That's a really long story that we won't get into.
Oh, engineering's pretty tough, dude.
Yeah.
It's
Engineering
a tough
is tough, especially
field,
whenever you
especially
have,
there at A&M.
Oh yeah.
Up
Oh
there.
yeah. But whenever you have 3 hours of the day taken up by track practice, and then 6 hours of the day taken up by fighting with your girlfriend, it gets a little bit tough to hold a good GPA, and that's exactly what happened to me. And then I had all kinds of scholarship money coming in academically. I turned down athletic money, but I had that scholarship money coming in academically, and lost that with the GPA, so I tried to transfer into ag leadership, and
Mm-hmm.
that fell through because I couldn't pay for it. So
Yeah.
now I went to work full time, and I'm trying to make a living on music.
Well,
But
you're all in though.
while there's some things that I would change about the past, I wouldn't trade it for anything right now.
Right.
If I could do it over again, I might do it. I would do it different. But
But all the
um,
experiences that you had, I'm sure, have led to some great songs too.
oh, absolutely.
Right, where you get all the inspiration
Absolutely.
for that.
Yeah, no,
You know?
of course,
So,
of course, and it's anything from girls to wild nights out to what liquors I can't drink. you know,
right,
it's it's
learning.
that's really why I wouldn't trade it for anything. If I could go back 2.5 years and start over with the knowledge that I have now and um, with the songs that I've written, like bring everything with me, just go back 2 years.
Yeah.
Then I would definitely. There are a lot of things that I would change, but I wouldn't start over.
No.
I definitely wouldn't start over.
No.
So, yeah, no, but the horns down thing, man, I just, ugh,
Yeah, I don't see how.
even growing up diehard Longhorn, like, it's a thing, you know.
Yeah, like
Growing
it's
up diehard,
or like what?
yeah, exactly.
If they're gonna do a thumbs down back, then like it's the
Yeah.
same thing. I don't know.
But even whenever I was on the other side, on the dark side of things, I still didn't have a problem with it because it gave me something to make fun of.
Yeah, it's like it goes both ways. It's
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
oh, it doesn't go your way, you get a horn down in your face. It does go your way, you throw a horn. I don't know. It's
Exactly,
like-
and it was always, our joke was always, if you ever see a bull about to charge, he turns his head down. So you're
Yeah,
saying that a
so
bull's
it's like-
about to charge, but
yeah.
now as an Aggie, I'm like, it's harmless. It's 2 fingers, and it's not even this one.
yeah, it's like
It's
yeah.
not even sign language. It's not sign language for anything but TU sucks. That's all.
Yeah.
Like there's no.
So I was seeing it's gonna be on a case by case basis.
Yes.
And supposedly they said it's different if like you're taking a picture with your team or you're on the sideline and you do it with your team. They said it's only gonna be if you're like directly in the face of a player.
Yeah.
But I mean, but still, it's like
Still.
so. It's not like you're saying like f off or whatever. It's just
Yeah.
like
Exactly.
But-
Exactly. And I mean, even the thing is, like in the years that TU hasn't been in the SEC or in the same conferences as A&M,
yeah,
it's still been
a part of
hand
A&M
signal.
culture
Yeah, exactly. And so you
because
think
you got
like.
and then you throw
Right,
both.
you think it's not unsportsman against UT or against TU anymore. It's literally an Aggie hand signal.
yeah.
Of like horns down.
We
doesn't
should just
mean-
trademark it and then
Right, exactly. No, I'm with you on that. I'm with you 100% on that.
trademark the horns down.
Call Jimbo right now. Right now, call Jimbo.
Get him on the phone. Or Ross Bork or something.
Right, yeah.
Be like-
Yeah.
You go to the higher ups,
absolutely.
be like, hey, trademark this.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's fight back.
But another thing that there was okay. So this is just a big pet peeve of mine, and I'm going to kind of take advantage of this platform here. People always talk about the student employees. There was a big thing going around about a bus driver, which is actually the department that I work in.
Okay.
I fix the buses,
Mhm.
and there was a thing going around about a bus driver that he started off at $13 an hour and worked his way up to $15 an hour, and it was like 7 raises or something that took place.
Uh-huh.
And everybody was in the comments saying, why don't we spend less money on football? Well, where...
How does that relate to, first of all? and then-
Exactly. So any other university, and this is out to any of the listeners over there, again, I would like to preface with, I have been on both sides of this. I have been an athlete, and I have been an employee of the university, and I've been a student. Like, I've been
Yeah.
on every side of this that you can.
Every avenue.
Right, exactly. And as an employee, no, they could bump pay a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's anywhere. The cost of living is going up tremendously these days.
Everywhere.
Yeah, and inflation on cost is far exceeding inflation on pay.
Right.
And it's really a tough situation that everyone's getting put in. But on the athletic side of things, Texas A&M Athletics is completely self-funded. They actually donate money to the university.
Yeah.
There was a fundraiser that the Maroon Coats did, or Maroon Jackets. I can't remember which one.
Maroon Coats. I actually had one of my roommates was involved with that. They're a pretty prestigious
cool.
thing. They deal with donors and stuff. Yeah.
Extremely. Broke the world record for the most amount of money raised in a fundraiser at $4.2 billion.
Jeez, that's just nuts.
Donated it to the university to build a classroom building.
Yeah.
Like, that was in the 12th Man Foundation, which, for those of you that don't know, is the funding behind Aggie Athletics, is they donate money to the university. So the student paychecks are coming from football, but it's the money that football makes. It's not the money that, the athletic program doesn't get any money from.
It's all donations that
it's
from outside donations to that 12th Man Foundation, and then that foundation's donating to different things. But
exactly, and it's ticket sales, and it's because even like on the track and field team, me being a pole vaulter on that team, we didn't get money from the university at all. We got money from football. Football is who paves the way, like who pays.
Football
for
generates the most revenue for sure,
Yeah,
and I mean
exactly,
it's hard for it not to when you've got 106,000 people, even just in ticket sales coming in there, and then
exactly, and
the big brand.
So just to like ease everybody's mind about us giving so much money to football, we don't. They get it on their own.
Yeah, like exactly. And the thing is too, people make those donations, and sometimes they specifically specify what their donation's for. It's not like always that they're choosing, that the foundation is choosing, like, oh, we're going to do this just because. It's like people donate money for a specific thing, and they're like, I want to do this, and they're like, okay, if you got the money, we might as well, like,
right. If you're and also just to help those people out that are only out there looking to bitch and moan about the football team taking all the money, don't look at the employment on campus, look at the tennis team. Because the tennis team is kind of lacking in their facilities right now. They haven't had, they're a little bit out of date on their courts and their facilities. So
and they're playing really well from what I remember too.
Oh,
they need some new,
well.
Yeah.
Extremely well. The tennis team, both men and women,
right,
both incredibly talented and very high ranked. So if you're just looking to bitch about football taking money, look into the tennis teams, because they could use some of that football money.
Yeah, raise awareness for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's definitely some. I would like to see Reed Arena be renovated as well too.
Yes.
Basketball, especially after the season they had last year, because it's the capacity's good and everything. But they could definitely use like an updating in there. It definitely looks like it's from the mid '90s. And you walk in there,
absolutely. And again, like you said, it's not even like not even build a whole new building. Just do some remodeling in there.
No, really, they just they got the new screen a few years ago when I was there, and then they've changed the court and updated a little bit. They just need to go in and maybe fix some of the seats, build some new concourses or something.
Yeah, spectator facilities.
Yeah. Yeah,
completely agree with you on there.
But yeah, well, I just want to say thanks for taking the time to do this interview today.
Hold on, I think you missed a question here.
I did, didn't I? I miss?
You did. I think you could ask Rich what question you missed here.
Oh goodness! How did we miss that?
I don't know.
You are 100% right. That's the most important question.
I know. I was sitting there thinking, is he saving it for last? Is this going to be?
I should have saved it for
last.
What's
going on here?
Yeah.
Well, you did. You just didn't mean to.
Oh my goodness. So, For those of you who don't know, if this is your first episode tuning in, or maybe it's not, I don't know, but Rich O'Toole, he's got his whole thing on Twitter and just his whole campaign on the beans or no beans in chili. You know, do you put beans in chili? Rich says yes. Me personally, I say yes. I honestly don't care that much, but but Montana, the beans belong in chili, Montana.
You've got to put your fist down. You've got to stand behind something.
All right, well, you know what, I'm gonna say I eat my chili with beans. So if I'm gonna I just hope I don't get canceled as a Texas-based podcast for that. But I'm gonna stand with Rich O'Toole and say I put beans in mine. What about you?
So I say you have to stand behind something, and now I'm gonna give stipulations. It depends on what it's with.
Okay.
If you're putting chili on a hot dog, no beans. God, no beans.
Well, yeah, I agree with you there.
Yeah.
But that's like a different kind of chili.
Yeah. But as far as like, I mean, they make cans that say chili beans.
Yeah.
So like,
if you're gonna eat a bowl of chili by itself, I feel like it
Yeah.
needs like some beans in there
some
too.
Kind of, yeah, exactly. You know, it just gives it more what's the word I'm looking for? Fluff.
Breaks it up a little bit too,
That
like
too,
because
yeah.
it's like.
Yeah. No, it's if it doesn't look the same going down or coming up as it did going down, you're doing it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You know. You got to have the chunks in there. You gotta if you're eating chili, odds are you're drinking beer. You know.
Yeah.
And
it's a pretty safe assumption.
Yeah, and if you're doing it right,
pairs
then
nicely.
you're gonna drink too much beer. And I
And
don't know why
it's
I'm
all
giving
gonna
this whole
come.
sermon right now, but you're gonna drink too much beer, and then you're gonna be driving the bus later. And whenever you're driving the bus, when one of your buddies comes in that just showed up to your tailgate, they've got to walk in and they've got to see it come up and go, he was doing it right, you know?
Yeah, he was eating the
absolutely
chili
doing it
with
right.
the beans, or
Yeah,
without the
no,
beans.
no, he's got it. No, because at that point, it's just like, oh, it was chili.
Yeah, it was chili.
It was chili. He was doing it right. He was drinking his beer with chili.
With the chili.
And if it's with cornbread, then obviously you gotta have beans. Sometimes I eat cornbread just with beans.
So sometimes I eat cornbread just with cornbread. I like cornbread.
Oh yeah, no, we gotta. Oh, shout out to Jay Cody's little barbecue place up here in College, or in Bryan actually. If you've never been, you gotta go.
Oh yeah.
But anyways, we go there every Thursday. The whole shop. We go there every Thursday for lunch, and
Right.
And they bring out this plate of cornbread and regular bread. It's just a bread plate. Or a bread basket, I guess is the best way to put it. But, oh my gosh. That is the best cornbread I've ever had the delight of tasting in my life. They have two types. They have the regular cornbread, and then they have the jalapeno cornbread.
Yeah, I've heard like some people put the jalapenos in there, and I've had it both ways. Both ways are good, like your traditional or you put a little bit of honey butter or some butter and some honey in there too.
Oh yeah.
Just
It's
good.
You got me wanting cornbread. I'm gonna have to.
Yeah, I know.
Cornbread next time. Damn it! Come on, Brian.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I had another one of Rich O'Toole's favorites for dinner. I had some tacos, so he's got his own taco now called the Richo Taco or something.
Really?
But yeah, he's been doing some kind of like Texas music series. I'm actually gonna. He was the first guest we ever had on here. I'm trying to see if he'll come. Since I got this whole like area set up in here now, I'm gonna try to get him to come over to the house and
Heck yeah, man.
hop on. But
heck yeah!
we'll
And
see.
if I ever get a second session interview with you, man, I'll be down there.
Yeah, man. We'd love to have you over sometime.
Yeah, that would be awesome, man. I'd love to come out and play or just hang out, whatever.
Yeah, sure. Anytime, man. But thanks so much for agreeing to come on here, man. Really enjoyed getting to talk to you today. Thanks for playing a song for us too.
Yeah, of course.
I think you're the first artist who's actually played a song on the podcast, so that's so yep, there you go.
Much appreciated for that opportunity.
But yeah, I'll keep you updated on when the episode's going to come out. It'll either be next Tuesday or the Tuesday after that. We usually drop our interviews on Tuesdays. So
Okay, cool.
Texas Music
deal.
Tuesday, we call it. So.
Yes, sir.
But I don't know what's going to happen when I stop recording. It may kick you out. It may not.
Okay.
But so if
we'll
it does,
find out.
goodbye. If not,
right.
I'll see you on the other side.
All right, sounds good.
But thanks for hanging out. As always, gig 'em and God bless.
Gig 'em and
Peace.
God bless.
See y'all next time.
See ya. Horns down.
Horns down, always.